What's up, everybody? It's Greg Birch with Delta Financial, and this is the Be the Difference podcast. This podcast is all about making you a better person in your life and in your business with coaching on sales, leadership, mindset, marketing, everything under the sun when it comes to being an entrepreneur, and we bring on guest speakers. Today, I have the honor and pleasure of welcoming Mr. Bill Heinrich. Bill, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, sir. Thank you for jumping on and sharing your wisdom and your experiences in order to pour into the audience today.
Well, I've had some pretty amazing experiences and have gained some phenomenal wisdom.
Yeah.
I've lived two entirely different lives. One of chaos, anguish, stress, overwhelm, arguing, disagreements. I can keep going, to one of just peacefulness, joy, and happiness, extreme happiness.
Yeah. This is going to be a great mindset podcast. I can already tell. I'm excited. So for those of you that don't know Bill and who he is, let me go ahead and introduce him. So success isn't always what it seems from the outside. Bill speaks from experience because he found success at a young age. He was living in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and from the outside, everything looked perfect, but something was always missing. He was surrounded by material success and with everything in place by normal standards, but he found himself dissatisfied and nothing seemed to fill the emptiness inside of him. No matter how much money he made or how successful he was, he never felt whole. And over the course of this time, the feeling got worse and it never got better no matter what he did. So he said he remembered that it was almost 30 years ago that he was so miserable that he walked out the door to change his life and never looked back. Prior to starting his spiritual transformation path, his life was literally out of control. It was dysfunction, completely controlled his life, and he was making decisions based on who he wasn't. He was literally walking through life blindfolded. And well, he's no longer blindfolded. He's cracked the code, and with nearly 30 years of research, investigation, and experimentations, he's found the answers that can allow anyone to live with passion, purpose, and prosperity. The information that he's discovered is so powerful that it creates a foolproof blueprint to follow that guaranteed success. Bill, let's start. Let's start with the success, when you were finding material success, what everyone deems is like, and I know exactly what you mean. Like there's so many times where people are like, if I get this, I'm going to be happy, right? Because they're basing happiness on some distant point in the future when happiness is really found within. And so you were in what most people would say, like, man, if I was making that much money, I'd be happy, right? So you were there, and from experience, it's not what you wanted. You weren't living the life that you desired. And so let's talk about there. What were those feelings like? What was that life of dysfunction, create within your mind?
It was just full of misperceptions. And I based the success I had, on me. And the problem is all of it was based outside of me. And so over the course of time, it's impossible to hold on to. Impossible. And I finally, I reached the point when things got bad, I had nothing in me to go to, right? I had to go to someone else. And what you do when you're in survival is you go to others that understand survival. Like attracts like, so we don't go get honest answers. We go get quick fixes. Right.
Absolutely.
Until it gets so bad, and then people never change because of willingness. They change because of unwillingness. They're unwilling to live a certain way any longer.
It almost becomes a necessity.
They're sick and tired of being sick and tired, right?
It's actually the second time I've heard that saying today. I like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was talking to another mindset coach on another podcast, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It gets to a point where you've had enough's enough, right? And you have to make that change.
Right.
And so talk through what was the breaking point that you finally said enough's enough and you started on that journey?
Well, it was 2 days after Christmas. It was about 9 o'clock or 9:15 at night. I was in a relationship with a woman. She had a son who was 12-ish, 13, something like that. I don't know what happened. He was a wise guy, but he said something. I snapped. I grabbed him by the shirt and had him against the wall. And his voice came from nowhere and said, "Bill, what are you doing? This isn't you." And I let him go. And I just walked upstairs and sat there for a minute. Like, this voice was something else. I just said, "I've got to go find out why I'm so miserable." Boom. And I left.
And where'd you go?
I went and stayed at a friend's and just kind of wandered for a while. Yeah, actually still wandering. I live in an RV, so
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I see life so differently now. But I began the journey, and the first thing is that I look for was I wanted something to use to guide me in life, but it could have no doctrine with it. And at some point, about 6 months after I had started, somebody handed me Deepak Chopra's 7 Spiritual Laws of Success.
Yep.
And no doctrine. I went through those. Start on Sunday with the law of pure potentiality. Do one a day for a week. I did that for years. And just see the way those things appeared in my life every day. It was like crazy. It was so amazing. And just dove deeper and deeper into metaphysics, because it was very obvious there are answers for us in the non-physical that don't exist in what we see in the physical world. Mm. And there's solutions and there's resources, and they're all free. You just have to know what they are. And it changes your life like that once you understand it.
Yeah.
It's really simple. But, people are so accustomed to surviving. That's all we're taught from when we're born. Food, water, shelter, work hard, got to have a job, got to have a roof over your head. Let's get to death safely. Let's make sure let's not live.
You know what's crazy about this is so is that I'm a big fan of law of attraction, big fan of metaphysics. And I've just started dabbling into it since about 2021. Well, most recently, have you read the book, The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer?
No, but I've heard of it.
So I just started, I'm almost done with the Surrender Experiment, and it was given to me by a friend that I was having a conversation about law of attraction metaphysics. They're like, "Oh, have you ever read the Surrender Experiment?" And they kind of talked to me, and it was basically exactly what you're saying. And it's Michael Singer's experience with basically like the universe and life providing you the things that you need.
Everything
you need when you just let go and you stop trying to control everything. You may have
you don't let go. Okay. Here's the first step. You acknowledge that we live in 2 different dimensions. Mm-hmm. Physical, what we see and what our mind tells us. Mm-hmm. Spiritual, non-physical dimension. Mm-hmm. When you sit and meditate, your heart, how you feel, that's the whole non-physical side, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've studied this for 30 years. I've been coaching executives and CEOs and people 15 years from all around the world. It changes their life like that. I'm a business coach, and I never talk business. I just show them how to work with their energy, show them what's blocking it. Because your purpose in life, your life purpose isn't what you do. it's the energy behind every thought, word, and action that you do anything with. It's the energy.
Yeah, I love that. I love
Be
that.
with that. It's the energy. So you could be work for the sanitation department and be living your purpose. You anywhere. It's
Yeah.
your energy. It's just you're there, coming from a place of love, in service for the benefit of all involved. You're out of the results. You're just there with love to enhance any situation. We don't care what the results are. They don't matter. That's what everybody stresses over. And when you start examining it, there's only two emotions, love and fear. That's it. You with me on that?
I am.
Love is in your heart. Fear can only happen in your physical experience. Fear cannot happen in your non-physical experience. You will feel fear, but it gets created from your head.
Yep.
And your head can only access the past. Your head can't come to the present moment. So there's really nothing about the physical that's good. It's all about limitation, suffering, pain, work. But when you approach it with a non-physical perspective, it changes the whole game. Because now we're there manifesting. Now we're there creating. Now we're there being of service. We're seeing miracles happen. We're seeing things happen. Things are changing. Life is exciting. It's always exciting. Or you're in the physical and you're stuck in limitation and suffering.
So, yeah, and like I said, this is so crazy because I started reading this book and I've gotten into started doing meditation because the book talks a lot about meditation and Zen Buddhism and the basic the allowance of the universe to guide you and that the world will provide the things you need. It may be a roundabout way to get where you think you want to go, but the experience will take you where you need to go. It's meant to.
Well, it won't be a roundabout at all, because when you understand how to communicate with the universe, do you know how to communicate with the universe?
I mean, I'm still trying to learn how to do meditation and keep my mind quiet right now, which is why I'm like, this is very unique that I'm on this path and journey, and now we're speaking, right?
Yeah.
And so that's
that's the way the universe works.
Yeah.
But the way you communicate with the universe is with your heart, with your vibration.
Yeah.
That's
I was thinking intuition, but like I would say intuition kind of comes from the heart almost.
Your intuition is you're hearing what the universe has to say. Mm-hmm. Your heart shows it what you're creating. And it does that by a vibration. So if your vibration is angry and pissed and resentful all the time, what are you going to create?
You're
like attracts like.
You're gonna attract more of that.
Like attracts like.
Yeah.
And if you're that way, the reason you're that way is because you have some story inside you that isn't even true. And you're just defending it. We all live based on our stories. Mm-hmm. And the stories that have been handed down and the family obligations and the ancestral and, oh yeah, and it's always done this way and whatever, blah, 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 blah. And people just, once they start looking at what it's like to be themselves, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this is exciting. Like when you can shed those other things, when you can surrender to all those other things and say, well, mom and dad might be upset, but I'm not going to do it that way anymore. I'm choosing to do it this way. Mm-hmm. If they're upset, that's their deal. I'm going to try it this way. I'm going to try it that way. I'm going to go live life.
Yeah.
rather than the social policing. You know, Abraham Maslow in his Maslow's hierarchy. I don't know if you're familiar with it,
I am.
but he went through, had the 5 basic needs, and added 2 more, the 7 aesthetics, cognitive and aesthetics, and it takes you to self-actualization. And self-actualization is just being a free thinker, making your own choices, right?
Mm.
You're free of the bondage of all that other stuff.
Of all the past experiences, of all
Any
the
you're
influence from outside
you're
perspective.
you're free of it, right?
Yeah.
Now that's freedom, right?
Yeah.
And you don't really, it's like today. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I could care less. I'd love to hear, but I don't care. Could care less.
Yeah.
I know who I am. I know what I think of myself. And when somebody has a negative perception of somebody else, they're just seeing themselves. They heard something that's really reminding them of who they are, or they didn't get something they want. It's just see people in it all the time. Yeah, it's all about the non-physical. Non-physical. It's all about energy. It's like an athlete. Before they played the Super Bowl, they didn't sit around and eat wedding cake before they went out for the game, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, somebody like Tom Brady has been on a diet for 25 years that's would blow our minds, right? Very, very well controlled. Mm-hmm. Have a proper energy. It's the same thing in the non-physical. You have to look at, okay, where are all the calories? Beer brings a lot of calories energetically with it.
Yeah. So when you started, and you about 6 months in, you got the book from about that Deepak Chopra had written, and you started reading that, and you started practicing it. How long did it take you before you started actually implementing it, and then you started to see that change? When did it click for you?
Well, that's the beauty of working with the non-physical. The minute you make a choice, you get instant gratification.
Okay.
It's instant. You don't wait 30 days. It's like, it's awareness. It's awareness. It's like, I hope that I have enough revenue, the rest of the year. And, wait. And the first law of Deepak Chopra's book, Pure Potentiality, says we are infinite abundance. Not maybe. We are. We are in absolute infinite pure potentiality. We can create anything we desire, which is true. And you look at how we get locked into a survival mindset and go through life and just shut that right off and suffer. Yet anybody can have that.
So when you talked about being coach and coaching executive level leaders on this and changing their lives or their business, what's some strategies, some simple strategies that you can give the audience to start this journey if they wanted to start them themselves? If they're listening to this and saying, man, this is something that I need to change.
I'm going to give you some trigger points.
Okay.
That you'll remember.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to start with mindset. Okay. Don't use it. The reason you don't want to use it is your mind can only access the past, and set is fixed. And there's nothing in the past and there's nothing fixed in the universe in non-physical. Everything's in a constant state of expansion. So people use this mindset. Mindset is good for a simple task you have to do. But if you're fixed on something, you're trying to outthink the universe. Put energy and let it combust. That's what happens in the universe. So the reason I say that is because it's a little controversial. in the respect that a lot of people you talk about mindset, but
Yeah.
truthfully, you look at mindset energetically, stay away from it energetically, because your mind can only access the past. Set is fixed, and the whole purpose of this is having the capacity through surrender, because you've talked about that earlier, to come here in the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get to the present moment. My mind can't take me there. And I can't get to the present moment if I'm set on something else. I can only come willingly to connect with an authentic connection and have a good, transparent conversation that two people appreciate. They aren't trying to outdo each other, just kind of really respecting and enjoying who each other is and their uniqueness, right?
Yeah.
Because we're all different and we're all equal. Everybody's equal. Not in the physical world, we aren't. In the physical world, everybody uses measurement. But in the non-physical world, we are all equal. But when you use measurement, then, you know, you're coming from a place of better than or less than.
I love that concept. I tell people that I'm not special. Neither are you. We have the same opportunity. Like, it's just like, and it's like same thing. Hey, we're all equal, you know?
Yeah, we're very special, each of us. And let's bathe in that for a second, because, you know, we each have this unique purpose. And like, I take people, boom, they put them right there. And you go to this ageless, timeless, and it's just expansion, it's intentions. We don't care about the physical. It's all energy and what we're creating. Because if we get stuck in the physical, we might see it one way, and it could be brought to us 100-fold a different way. If you look at it energetically, you go, oh, that can bring that in a little closer. This could be good, right? Just went through that with a client where he just switched positions and we created. He's been with me 5 years. We've created every one of his positions, and this one was a like grand slam. It was amazing, and it just came to him. He didn't go look for it. We just set the energy, put the energy in motion. It's all energy.
So you start off with mindset. Don't use it. What else? What's the next one?
Defensiveness.
Okay.
Stop. There's nothing to defend. Not when you're equal and you're coming from a place of love. What you're defending, typically what people are defending is that's what they're typically defending. That need to be loved. They need to be recognized. They need to be accepted. And they're trying to do it through some asinine point. That sound familiar?
It does.
You seem to be reflecting on, hey, listen, we've all been there, done that. You know? Right?
It does. Right? I like what you're saying.
Yeah. And for you know, the funny part of that is your life is completely out of control when you're doing that. Like, we're running, literally, you're running out of control, because when you come consciously, you know, if somebody came up and said, you know, I have a book, The 7 Levels of Truth, which is everything I do in my coaching. It's on Amazon. 7 Levels of Truth. And somebody, I think your book sucks. It's like, great. Tell me why. Well, because of that. Great. How do you feel about that? I think that's great. That's your choice. I can't control you. I'm glad you have that perception, because there is duality in the universe. So somebody's got to be over there sitting on the wrong side of the fence, because what I'm teaching is just about vibration. And with vibration, that's just pure truth. A vibration either is or it isn't, right?
Yeah.
It's either you're meditating and you're going into a higher vibration and you're peaceful and you can feel it and you're breathing and your heart's moving and it's like, okay, this is good. This is good. The more you practice that, you can even extend it further. Or you're angry, Which one?
Did you get into meditation shortly after that experience?
I've meditated for quite a while. Yeah, I don't meditate currently like I used to, although so much of my day is a meditation. The majority of I spend a lot of my time in silence. A lot of when I drive, always in silence, and I live in an RV, I drive cross country.
Yeah.
It's being present with what's going on. It's nice. It's nice. Yeah. You can either be surviving or thriving. And if you're surviving, your focus is in the physical. Yes, you need food, water, shelter. But what's behind? What's the energy? Your energy tells you where you're at.
Yeah.
Your energy tells the truth. Oh, I'm good. No, I'm good. It's like, well, just listen to the energy of the way you're saying, no, I'm good. That's anything but good. Somebody asked me, I'd say, I'm fine, thank you. I'd walk away. You just follow the energy. Fascinating, isn't it?
This is fascinating. I feel like I'm getting more and more. It's almost like the universe is providing me all these clues. Like I need to get serious about meditation and get serious about my energy and how I'm allowing the universe to come into my heart, my mind, in order to move forward.
Well, let me say it this way. There's no going back.
Yeah.
Not when you get a taste of it. There's no going back. And then this is the way the universe works. The universe always conspires for your success. Always. Always. Look at the things that's dropped into your life.
Yeah.
Coincidence.
No.
Is it?
I don't think so. I don't believe
is it energetic attraction?
Yeah.
Which in fact is the law of attraction, but it's manifestation. You don't want attraction, you want manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
Attraction is the law of attraction is the state of wanting something. Why do you want something when you can just manifest it?
So when you work with your clients, because these are some high level strategies, topics that to go over, probably difficult for a lot of people when they start off to conceptualize and throw themselves into and practice. What are some simple tactics that you help for them to ease into it, to start to see this and to see the metaphysical realm or understand it?
Well, they get it right away because one of my gifts is we've each come to Earth. Are you familiar with the chakras?
I've heard of them, but I mean, please.
We have 7 chakras. They start with the root chakra by your groin up to the crown chakra, and there's 7 of them. Mm. They're energy centers, and some people can see them, and they can see energy and see colors. And I haven't been able to access that gift yet. See, I believe we all have those gifts. We just block ourselves from them. I haven't accessed that. But anyway, my specialty is in the area of energy. We have 7 powers that flow through these chakras. Divine compassion, divine creation, divine order, divine healing, divine authentic self-expression, divine truth, and divine power. and they flow through. The problem is when you're born and you saw the life of survival, you're not familiar with these energies or any of this stuff I'm talking about because your whole life has been focused on survival. So all of you is just survival bound. It's always been that way. When these energies aren't used the way they're supposed to, they come out in the form of penalties. And then you have life lessons. So you have blind spots with life lessons. You have penalties with your divine powers. And it's keeps coming up until you get the lessons and go the other way. I mean, that's the way the universe works, right?
Yeah.
So once I take somebody through and I introduce them to their energy, to their energetic DNA, it changes their life instantly. Because what we do first is we look at the things blocking them in their life. We do that in the very first session. Then I do the meditation and I get their powers. But the first thing I do with them, with their powers, is we look at the penalties. Is this familiar to you? And they're like, oh yeah, absolutely. What about this? And there's a lot of them, right? That's how we know. That's how we know that this is their energies. And then I explain the other side of it, and they can literally feel the difference. They can just flip the switch. It's amazing. You know, for instance, divine order is an energy that's harmony, balance. They make great teachers, plans, blueprints. You know, that's order.
Yeah.
But when you have that energy flowing through you, you hate it if somebody's upset with you, because the energy of them being upset affects you energetically. It disrupts your energetic order. In your head, you just think, I hate it when people are upset with me, but it's because of how you feel. And when you understand it, you can change it just like that.
What about divine truth?
What about it?
What? So you explained that energy. What's this energy?
Divine truth?
Yeah. I don't know why, but when you went through them, divine truth really stuck out to me.
Divine truth is someone who understands the sanctity of universal wisdom, okay, of the Akashic records, of everything that is, everything that's come before, everything that's happened in all time. We have access to all of that in the non-physical if we open to it. Mm-hmm. So a person with divine truth is either going to be very outspoken against it, right? Or they may also, they may be the doubting Thomases, where they just ask question after question after question because they want to get to where the truth is. Look at you smile. They want to get
I know what kind of people you're talking about.
They want to get to where, you know, the truth is really shiny, like you've stripped it right down. You got it to the bare bones, right?
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar?
Not for me, no. But I know it sounds familiar for people I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's real familiar for people I know.
So yeah, but this is all driven energetically. They don't know it.
Yeah.
Not until they work with me. Once they start looking at the energies, I've got, like, this is so amazing. A gentleman I coach individually, his son is in my group coaching program. So his son is young and is still a little rebellious and everything. And I've been giving him some assignments. So I gave him an assignment, and I said, because I knew when his father came in and they're in the financial business, his stuff was slipping through the cracks that the son wasn't taking care of. Let me say it that way. Okay. The father was getting frustrated. The son was giving him a song and dance and stories. So I told the son, I said, listen, something like that happens. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to look and say, no, I haven't handled that. I'm sorry. I'll take care of that right now. And you stop whatever you're doing and you take care of it. And he's like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do it. You know, I said, you can do it. Don't worry. Just play with it. Last Friday, I get on with his dad, our weekly call, and we're talking a little bit. And I'm like, so how was your week? What's going on? What do we want to talk about? Because we just talk about the emotions and we talk about everything in the inner game. We don't care about business. When you've got the inner game, you got business licked because you know what to do very quickly. Yeah. He's like, well, there was something really, the highlight of my week. I said, what's that? Because he knows nothing about this. He said, I came back in. I was driving back from an appointment. I got this thing about this thing hadn't been handled, came in the office and thought, oh God, I've got to talk to my son about it. I'm going to listen to all this BS. He said, I walked in and said, hey, has such and such been handled? And he said, he looked up and says, no, I haven't handled it. I'm sorry, but I'll do it right now. And he went and did it. And he said, I was in the state of shock. I didn't know what to do with myself because I had already planned for a 10-minute conversation. That's the way it had been, you know, in the past. Mm. So just in that little energetic exchange, we've changed their lives drastically just with them playing with that. They can see how the stories create a lot of verbiage that isn't necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this. So I want to hear some other explanations of like the divine power or any of the other ones, because this is fascinating to me.
Well, it starts with divine compassion, and divine compassion has to do with your levels of empathy.
Okay.
And then divine creation has to do with the fact that thought creates, and that you anything you're creating, it's just in the process of bringing it to the physical. People with divine creation really need to work in the physical, face to face, and otherwise, energetically, they're in trouble. Divine order is about order. Divine healing is, divine healing is a really fascinating energy because it's an energy that the people that have it, the energies, it's like they're walking around in a hamster ball, right? And they could be in the grocery store or anywhere. And this is funny because the people that I've worked with that have had this, they're like, oh my God, that happens all the time. And what happens is people come up and start talking to them and telling them very intimate, confidential, detailed stories about themselves, looking for help. And they're like, what the hell? I'm just with a loaf of bread and, my ketchup and whatever, right? In the line at the grocery store. What is going on? This happens all the time. But it's this energy that makes you feel like you're whole and not broken. And when you get near the energy, it's crazy. Then authentic self-expression, those are people that hide out when they should be teaching. Divine truth, we did divine power is all about the power of choice. All about the power of choice. The energetic power of choice.
I'm curious to find out which one is
in order. It's a great question. So you can get my book, The 7 Levels of Truth.
Okay.
It's on Amazon. I have programs. What's that? Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
The 7 Levels of Truth.
Yeah.
I have coaching programs. I have a group coaching program, a super conscious mastermind, and then I do individual coaching. And if somebody really wants to get there fast, that's the way to do it. Because kaboom, like it's, I don't know if I can say that. I don't know if I can get in trouble for saying this. It's like going through 10 years of therapy in 6 months, right? Because you get so clear with yourself, right? That's all you're looking for, clarity is when with a therapist is, why do I feel this way? When you can sort it out yourself, it's very easy, very, very fast.
Yeah.
But it's about the integration. right?
Yeah.
And it's about my wisdom. It's like this gentleman and his son. See, I said to his son, I've got an assignment for you. I want you to try this, right? Now I'm going to hear back from the son next week. I haven't spoken to him. I know this is taking place because the father told me. Now I'm going to hear the son's whole energetic experience around this. And what's going to happen is he has to throw himself under the bus. He has to, because he hasn't been handling the details like that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he has to. And that's what we want. We want him to see how he can be more responsible. We want him to make that choice rather than saying, you're not doing this right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's all fascinating.
No, this is fascinating.
No one can come to me with a problem that I can't solve very simply. It's impossible.
So for anyone that's listening and they're as fascinated as I am, and they're like, you know what, I want to look into this. I mean, obviously they can go check out the 7 Levels of Truth on your book on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they want to find out more about the group coaching or anything like that, where can they find more on that or reach out to you?
The simplest thing to do is go to speaktobill.com,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get a 20-minute clarity call with me, where I can see what's going on and I can see whether or not you qualify. You know, this isn't like, oh yeah, everybody jump in the pool. You know, there if the worst thing I could do is take somebody through this who isn't really ready for it.
Yeah.
Right. Because this is about you. So my success rate is off the chart, but I also will turn people down in a second, you know, because
that's any good coach should, because if you're bringing on everybody, and your success rate's going to go down.
Yeah, but here's the difference. And again, if you want to do a clarity session at speaktobill.com, here's the difference. This information is so powerful that I give a 100% money back success guarantee. Let me repeat that. It's so powerful, I give a 100% money back success guarantee. And if somebody says, yeah, I want it, I want to see the guarantee, I say, good, write one and I'll sign it. I don't even care what's on it. It doesn't matter what's on it. Because they either get this or they don't. And if they get it, they're going to look at the guarantee and what they wanted and go, huh, that's like taking a ham sandwich to a banquet. I mean, just a second here. Yeah. Right? You know, or they're in resistance to it. And it's like, no, here, you have your money back. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything.
Yeah.
I'm here to say this. Everything I've told you is 1000% accurate, and it's all scientifically proven. Every bit of it is scientifically proven. It's just a matter of your perception of it.
Yeah. I love that. Bill, thank you so much for coming on and sharing some of your experience, your wisdom, and all this. I mean, this knowledge. This has been awesome, actually. So I'm like, man, I need to go meditate more.
Yeah, go back and listen to this. I've said so many things here.
Yeah.
And here's what's important. I don't know which one of those things are important to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to do them all.
Yeah.
But something's going to resonate and play with it. Right? Maybe it's the defensiveness. And you're like, okay, I'm not going to be defensive. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, you didn't get this done. No, I'm sorry I didn't. How would you like me to handle it? There's no defensiveness at all. You just don't protect yourself, man.
Yeah.
There's so many different things. It's fun.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. Last question I always ask my guests is, you have the opportunity to speak with 3 people in history, spend time with them, break bread with them, learn from them. Who would those 3 people be? Anyone in history?
It'd be the 3 people in your audience that are suffering the most.
Oh, that's deep. That's good. And it's the first time anyone's ever said anything like that. That's awesome. Yeah. I really like that. Like a lot. That's fantastic.
Hey, by the way, I've got a free book. It's called, that everybody can download. It's called Clarity Has No Story. Clarity has no story. Think about it. It's all about language. You can get it at myfreebook.me. Myfreebook.me. Clarity has no story. It's all about language. It's a shaman's guide to mastering the law of attraction.
Okay. Myfreebook.me. This is also going to be in the show notes for everyone watching or listening.
Yeah.
Bill, thank you so much for all the value that you just provided. I appreciate you coming on board and sharing all that. And I'm definitely going to go back and re-listen to this. And for all the audience that's listening, you need to go back and re-listen to this as well. Tap into a lot of these free resources. Go check out the 7 levels of truth. And this conversation provided you any value, if it changed your perspective, if it gave you a new way of thinking, then do me a favor. We grow this podcast by word of mouth, by organic growth. So share this content with somebody else that might be in pain, that might be able to learn or grow from this, or have value in their own life, that they can get in and get the 7 levels of truth, or get the free book at myfreebook.me. It takes you 30, 60 seconds to do a like, share, review, but it means the world to us. So I appreciate it. This has been the Be the Difference podcast. I'm your host, Greg Birch. As always, until next time.